Do you want to be as successful as possible in your studies? Well, then you first are going to have to learn how to hack your brain. I'm serious. Think about it. A lot of our studies involves memorizing, and memorizing stuff isn't easy. In fact, most of us are pretty poor at it because we don't have a system. So here is a system, a hack for you. Actually, memory is three different types of things. Firstly, there is what we call sensory memory. And this involves you paying attention to whatever is around you. It could be stuff that you're reading, it could be the lecture that you're listening to, whatever it may be. But if you're not actively paying attention, you are not going to let the information go into your brain. It will never enter your sensory memory. It will never be able to be processed by your brain in order to be used at a later stage. This is why you're never going to learn something by putting a book under your pillow and just having a good night's rest. Unfortunately, that myth just isn't true. The second type of memory is your short-term memory. You've probably heard of this. Now, the problem with short-term memory is that it can be very short. If you have information that you've paid attention to that has moved from your sensory memory into your short-term memory, and then you don't do anything with that information, it will simply disappear. This is why rehearsing, repeating things is so unbelievably important. If you repeat regularly, the information in your short-term memory becomes consolidated, it becomes really strong. And at some point it moves over to the third type of memory, long-term memory. Now you might think once it's in there, it's great, right? It's long-term, it's going to be there forever. No, you still have to maintain it. If you've learned something and you never ever think about it again, it will eventually just disappear. So rehearsal remains important. You just don't have to repeat things as often as you do at the early stages of memorizing. So 3 basic tips. Really pay close attention if you want to learn something. Secondly, have a plan for how you're going to rehearse it. And thirdly, occasionally go back to stuff that you've learned earlier in order to be able to keep the information alive in your long-term memory. Put these 3 things together and you will be a power learner.